I'm Raisa Chantami of the Indonesia channel at the ASEAN Secretariat in Jakarta. Welcome to ASEAN Today, your weekly look at the dynamic Southeast Asia region. The Philippines officially recognized a measles outbreak in the country. The announcement on February 6th came as the numbers of cases and deaths continued to rise. The Health Department reported more than 18,000 measles cases, including 286 deaths between January 1st and March 11th. That's nearly 4 times as much as the same time period the year before. Most of the confirmed deaths are children aged 3 months to 4 years old. Measles vaccination rates fell from a 2014 high of 88% to 73% in 2017, then plummeting to 55% last year. The sharp drop came in the wake of a political battle over a separate dengue fever vaccine that was discontinued over safety concerns. ASEAN was again the venue for a bilateral summit with global impact. Vietnam's capital city hosted U.S. President Donald Trump and North Korea's leader Kim Jong-un on February 27th. The two leaders agreed that preserving peace on the Korean peninsula is significant, with experts hoping for a deal on denuclearization. But no agreement was reached. A previous summit in Singapore in June last year had raised hopes for a historic announcement. An Indonesian woman is free in an international murder case involving North Korea. Malaysia released Siti Aisyah on March 11th after prosecutors withdrew the murder charge against her in the death of the half-brother of North Korea's leader. Aisyah had been charged along with Vietnamese national Duan Thi Huong in the killing at Kuala Lumpur International Airport in February 2017. Defense attorneys argued that their client was tricked into smearing a poisonous substance onto the victim's face. Vietnamese defendant Duan still faces trial. Singapore is working to keep the country's hawker industry cooking. That effort includes a petition for the street business to be included in UNESCO's list of intangible heritage and a better management on the ground. The hawker scene in Singapore serves up a variety of dishes for a food-loving nation. But a workforce crunch is slowly hitting the industry as the first and second wave of hawkers are inching their way towards retirement. The government manages the hawker centers and sees them as vital in providing jobs for the less privileged. But the trade is struggling with competition and a failure to lure younger talent. Being a hawker often requires working long hours under harsh conditions. The median age of hawkers in Singapore is 59. Most younger citizens aspire to more comfortable office jobs, leading to a workforce crunch in the city-state's well-loved and traditional hawker landscape.
Working as a hawker, I find that is a long-hour job. Minimum at least 16 hours. So that's why a lot of the youngsters or the next generation, they don't want to take over as a hawker. It's because that they have to sacrifice. Like I myself, I have to sacrifice weekend. We got no time with the families, and also got no time with friends.
Seeking solutions, the government assigned management of 13 of the city's 114 hawker centers to social enterprises, which aspire to do good while also earning a profit.
If we were to go out and set up a storefront, we have to pay for the furniture and stuff. Coming to a hawker center, we don't have to worry about anything outside of our kitchen. And as newcomers, it allows us to focus more on improving the food quality.
But some of the new centers that are being run by the social enterprises have been criticized over poor management, high rentals, and strict conditions imposed on hawkers, many of whom are elderly. Happy and hungry customers hope a satisfying balance is reached to keep the centers of casual cuisine alive. 2 Singapore hawker stalls won Michelin stars in 2016, the first street food stall to earn that quality designation. More ASEAN Today is coming up shortly. The evolution of air transport in Southeast Asia, that's ahead. You're watching ASEAN Today. I'm Raisa Chantami in Jakarta. Leaders in the ASEAN region are working to connect member countries in a number of ways. One critical connection is airlinks. Here's a look at how far off the ground the effort has come and where it's flying next.
ASEAN is one of the fastest growing aviation markets in the world. ASEAN air traffic, one of the busiest in the world, is projected to increase among ASEAN member states by 6.5% annually from 2013 to 2033. Recognizing that a well-integrated and sustainable air transportation network is imperative for the acceleration of ASEAN's economic development and market integration, the 13th ASEAN Summit endorsed the initiative of establishing an ASEAN Single Aviation Market (ASAM) by 2015 in support of the development of the ASEAN Economic Community (AEC). ASAM will contribute towards a more competitive and resilient ASEAN, as it will bring people closer together and facilitate the efficient, safe, and secure movement of goods, services, and capital closer together. In April 2016, ASEAN reached a significant milestone in its ongoing ASEAN community building process, with the realization of open skies for the ASEAN market through the full ratification of the ASEAN Open Skies Agreements. ASEAN has concluded and signed the protocol to implement the 10th package of commitments on air transport services under the ASEAN Framework of Services (AFAS) to further liberalize air transport ancillary services in the region. ASEAN is also reaching out to engage and work with ASEAN's dialogues partners to enhance air connectivity with the major market partners. The implementation of this measure has further strengthened collaboration with China, Japan, the Republic of Korea, the United States, and the European Union in many sectors of aviation, including economic components, aviation safety, aviation security, and air traffic management. ASEAN Air Traffic Management Master Plan, which provides an ASEAN framework for transition to the seamless ATM environment to meet future requirements, has been adopted, and implementation of ASEAN ATM Master Plan is ongoing. Mutual Recognition Arrangement on Flight Crew Licensing (MRA on FCL), covering the mutual recognition of approvals, certificates, and licenses related to flight crew licensing issued by an ASEAN member state civil aviation authority, has also been adopted, and implementing protocols are under progress. In line with post-2015 Vision for Transport Cooperation and Kuala Lumpur Transport Strategic Plan (KLTSP), as guided by ASEAN transport ministers, ASEAN put its best effort towards greater connectivity, efficiency, integration, safety, and sustainability of ASEAN air transport to strengthen ASEAN's competitiveness and foster regional inclusive growth and development.
Intra-ASEAN air travel is expected to contribute a third of regional air travel by 2036. More ASEAN Today is coming up shortly. Beauty after Boracay, where the Philippines is cleaning up, next. This is ASEAN Today, coming to you from Jakarta. home of the ASEAN Secretariat. Fashion designers here in Indonesia are weaving together culture, religion, and style into big business. ASEAN Today's Fauzul Azim has the story.
A new generation of customers is looking for a modern, sophisticated, yet modest look. And here in Indonesia, fashion designers are working with the trend. Jani Cahyawati is the owner of one of the country's most successful clothing lines. Her fashion pieces are a colorful part of the new market. In the world's largest Muslim-majority country, she is seeing a major shift from the standard fashion pieces to a more subtle approach to clothing.
Penduduk Indonesia itu mayoritas Muslim terbesar di dunia, dan itu yang kita manfaatkan untuk di sini banyak komunitas, ya. Dari komunitas juga banyak Muslim dan market terbesar sekali, dan kita banyak yang harus digali. Memang di Indonesia itu banyak banget, dan seperti dari batik, tenun, dan kain-kain wastra Nusantara itu sangat banyak sekali di Indonesia.
She said Indonesian designers are now creating pieces that showcase the uniqueness of the country's culture, setting themselves apart from the more common modest clothing found in the Middle East. Dianjeng Lestari is the woman behind Hijab, a Muslim fashion empire that sells local designer products on its website with free worldwide shipping. That strategy has helped to take Indonesia's local designs onto the global stage.
We really understand that it's not only about wearing hijab or wearing clothes, but behind that we see that is it in line with our value, the Islamic value, like is it sustainable in terms of the eco-living, and then is it treat the labor in a good way or not. So it has to be very in line with the value or Islamic value itself.
In 2016, Hijab participated in the London Fashion Week, a big moment for the company and for Indonesia. They exhibited items from Indonesian Muslim designers alongside other key players in the fashion industry. Modest fashion essentially refers to covering up parts of the body when dressing. Today's designers are now connecting faith to fashion, and the result is good for business. Fauzul Azim for ASEAN Today, Jakarta.
Here are several events on the ASEAN calendar. K-pop superstar group BTS will be live on stage at the Raja Mangala National Stadium in Bangkok on April 6th. The HSBC World Rugby Sevens 2019 will kick off on April 13th and 14th in Singapore's National Stadium. And the Labuan International Sea Challenge 2019 will be held from April 26th to the 29th in Malaysia. Revitalizing visitor destinations in the Philippines is underway, but the latest effort may face government roadblocks, as ASEAN Today's Wendy Widiantini reports.
The Philippines closed the popular tourist island of Boracay for 6 months last year to conduct a massive cleanup operation along its beaches. The success has authorities setting their sights on the more challenging coastline of Manila Bay, but doubts are being raised about the new effort. 5,000 volunteers kicked off this latest cleanup project, but this is just a tiny fraction of the nearly 200-kilometer coastline, and rehabilitation work is going to take more than just picking up trash.
We'll settle with it point by point, from A to Z. So we'll start from the source, going to the canals, creeks, rivers, then Manila Bay.
Authorities were serving notices and cutting access of violators to both sources of water and sewer lines. Among the first casualties were the business establishment that dumped wastewater directly into the public drainage system. Authorities even served a closure order to one branch of the Jollibee fast food chain, the largest company here in the Philippines. More than 200,000 squatters may also have to be moved, but not until they can be provided with a decent relocation site, according to the Department of Environment and Natural Resources.
When it comes to informal settlers, what we will do is we will contain their wastewater using a silt curtain, and we will install floating STPs floating STPs that will treat their water right there.
But while virtually no one opposes the idea of revitalizing the Manila Bay Area, there are concerns that current efforts won't amount to anything if pending reclamation projects go forward.
That is the challenge we pose, particularly to the government, to President Duterte. If you and this government is really serious in rehabilitating Manila Bay, then you should reject and not allow any reclamation projects within the Manila Bay, because no study can refute these negative impacts of reclamation.
Environment officials could not confirm whether reclamation projects will proceed or not, at least not yet. But they are saying that reviving Manila Bay's old glory could take years, and that they can only hope succeeding administration will build on what they've started. Winnie Widiantini for ASEAN Today.
We like hearing from you throughout the ASEAN region and the world. All of our episodes are posted on YouTube, so check us out there if you can't find us on your local TV channel. Then let us know what you're thinking about or what you want to see on the program. Email us at ASEANTodayTV@gmail.com, post something on our Facebook page, or tweet us at ASEANTodayTV. The world's first full-size self-driving electric bus rolled out in Singapore. This vehicle is 12 meters long and has 36 seats on board. It can carry 80 passengers. Fully charged, this bus has a range of 25 kilometers at a speed of 50 kilometers an hour. The recharging process takes only 6 minutes. This test operation on March 5th is the first of several this year. And that's ASEAN Today for this week. I'm Raisa Chantami of the Indonesia channel in Jakarta. Terima kasih. Please join us again next time.